Hey, everybody, it's Mike for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios and brought to you by our official sponsor, the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Mulson's They're Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We're here with a wonderful gentleman who's Portland, Oregon-based, retired United States Air Force veteran and filmmaker, the CEO and CFO of the Dragonesque Studios. We'll talk about that. He's got a new release, which is a sci-fi futuristic film with the look and feel of Marvel and DC Comics. You can tell if you're viewers up there as well, too. And, of course, he's been in the filmmaking business for quite some time, loyal following on all the social media platforms. You can follow on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and everything else, along with Facebook and more. And he's got a new movie, which is about to be a TV series called B.E.A.R.S The Awakening. And what is that? We'll find out just 1 minute. Live, ladies and gentlemen, at Plus Studios, somewhere in beautiful downtown Portland, Oregon. The amazing multi-talented filmmaker and also the director and CEO of Dragonesque Studios with B.E.A.R.S The Awakening, and also retired U.S. Air Force veteran, ladies and gentlemen, the multi-talented Da Vinci Young. Da Vinci, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Good evening, Mike. Thanks for having me.
What's great to have you on board as well, too, Da Vinci. And it's not the code, by the way, folks. Don't get that on track. So, you're based out of Portland, Oregon. You're a retired United States Air Force veteran and filmmaker, CEO of Dragonesque Studios, featuring B.E.A.R.S The Awakening, and your new release is a sci-fi futuristic film with the look and feel of Marvel and DC Comics. And we're going to find out the plot on that. And this is going to be a movie and TV series. And you talk about your career being a CEO of Dragonesque Studios. And before getting all that, Da Vinci, tell us how you got started.
Ooh, long story. I'll try to make it short.
Well, let's get a little futuristic too before the bears come after you.
There you go. Very true. This started, oh God, about 15 years ago now. Yeah, about that long. Um, my sister went to school for film to
Mm.
be a director. Was doing really, really good. Her final project was a documentary. She finished that, aced it, did real, real good. Then she was getting ready to film her second one, and she got sick. She came down with lupus.
Oh.
So that pretty much put a kibosh on her filmmaking career. So one day she got a hold of me. She was like, "Bro, you've always been good with writing and doing your stories and having people, love what you do. Can we at least get together and write a script? I want to at least say I did that."
Mm-hmm.
So I was sure, no problem. We can do that, And originally to me, it was just a little bonding moment, just to, a time to me and her to get together and do something fun.
Okay.
So we started to get into it, and like they say, write what you know. I'm ex-military. Let's lean toward a military type film.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, okay, sure. So what are some of our boundaries going to be? And I thought about it. I think, you know what? There are a couple of things I don't like. She was like, what? I was like, well, the first thing is, you know how in these military films, they sh they show these guys going through all this hellacious training to get to the actual op. Within the first 15 minutes, half the team is dead.
Oh,
I'm like, how many films can you think of off the top of your head that's happened?
boy. 15 minutes, half the crew is dead. We will lose every war by now in the world, literally. I don't get it.
Exactly. And I'm like, that's not even remotely true. I say, the military, they train you like a dog. They definitely do train you. But it's so that you can come back from the mission in one piece. It's not so you can go out there, try to do something and just die.
Mm-hmm.
They invest a lot of money and a lot of time so you actually can get back home. So I was like, we gotta make sure that we reflect that in this film, you
Okay.
know, because you can't be trained for years to be taken out like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no realism, there. Um, I said the second thing was we don't see enough ethnic diversity in the team.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, what do you see? You see a whole bunch of vanilla with a dash of chocolate, in it. That's it.
I completely understand it. Like in the video games, the TV series, and everything else, and you're just like you get so dizzy after a while. So you go like this. It's like really. It's like,
Exactly.
do we need new glasses or something or what?
Anybody that served in the military knows it's a tossed salad. You see a little bit of everybody in there,
Hmm.
so that had to change. We need to reflect that as well, you know. And I want to be able to have a team that's going to last, that's going to really go through some stuff. They can get beat up, battered, bruised, but I want them to go through some stuff.
Hmm.
So once we got those parameters down, we started writing. The first script took us about a year to do. Um, because I had to change my mind from short story novel writing to screenwriting. It's totally different.
Hmm. Right.
When it comes to a book, it's all about prose and epic descriptions of the environment, so you can lead, your reader into the story. Writing a script, you gotta take this much and bring it down to about this much.
Mm. It's almost like a play-by-play, pretty much. It's like you call it play-by-play, but you try to condense it like stories like here's all the action, like say in baseball, getting ready to pitch, throw a strike, and everything else. But then you're like here's a pitch, strike one, stuff like that.
Exactly, exactly. So I had to learn how to do that. And that took some time. But after I got the hang of that, when we banged it out, then it was all about entering it into script contests and then letting other directors and producers look at it. And they kept telling me the same thing, all of them. You need to do this yourself. And I'm like, I'm not a director. I have no idea, about that. And then they was like, no, you got to. And I was like, why? Why do you keep saying that? So one director was like, I want you to do this. But think about some of your favorite books. Go look and see if there is a movie version of that book.
Mm.
So one of my favorite films is Fear. So I thought, let me go ahead and look. Sure enough, a movie was out. I watched the movie and I was gobsmacked. I'm like, wait a minute, there are so many key scenes that are no dialogue at all, but they're just action scenes, but they're important action scenes because of the way it leads the story. In the film, they were cut out. And I'm
Mm.
like, that makes no sense. So I started going to other films that were from books and start to see a pattern. There were either major scenes removed or the entire story was gutted and somebody else just threw some stuff in there. I'm
Right.
like,
Or it's
that,
like dramatized to make it more colorful, everything like that. And of course, you see in some movies that, like, yeah, this was not in this, they dramatized that. I completely understand.
yeah. And then I started to realize what Hollywood was doing was buying, these scripts or buying the rights to these stories, and they were just completely gutting them and rewriting them. And I'm like, that makes no sense because if that story was published and it's out there in the world, people actually like the characters the way the original writer wrote it.
Hmm.
So why can't you do that in the live action? You can still add some stuff to it, give it a little more flavor. Yeah, that's cool, but do not destroy the theme of the film, the essence of the characters. Stay true to that. So I was like, now I see why they've been telling me if I want to get this done right, I gotta do it myself.
That's true,
So,
and I think that's pretty much the formula that they say too. It's like be yourself and don't be a cookie cutter, don't be a copycat, and everything else. And of course, we're getting into directors, movies, and everything like that. Who are some of your favorite film directors growing up?
oh my God, George Lucas, Spike Lee. Matter of fact, there was a phrase that George Lucas said that I never forgot. He said, films nowadays are not done by directors, they're done by studios.
Right.
And I was like, that's deep.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the quality of films back in the 70s and the 80s and a couple ones in the 90s, when you saw these amazing plot twists and character growth arcs, and now it's almost as if they're trying to check boxes on the list.
Right. Yeah. Like, CGI, stick to the script and everything like that. And of course, we can all see why George Lucas is actually the most hated, director out there because he's so good at what he does. And, he pretty much said the truth and, just cuts deep and everything like that. But, George Lucas may be hated by some, but he is correct in many ways.
Very, very true. Very true. I mean, it's just kind of crazy. Everybody wants something different. They want something new. I said, well, you need to take the business part out of film again and let the directors direct the movie.
hmm and I think people have complained about, talking to the young kids, like the Gen Zs, the alphas, and everything like that. It said, forget the remakes, do something original. And it's like you're seeing way too much Hollywood, prequel to this, sequel to that, or Star Wars, chapter 200 something, it's like that. It's just like, forget about the guaranteed money makers, come out with something original. And of course, I was reading about where Disney was really going bad, and someone had a best answer. Quit worrying about sequels, prequels, trying to please this, please that. It's like Disney had like every single aspect, and he was so creative. It's like he threw it out there, and it's like he was so original. It's like we need to get back to originality, just like Bear sets originality.
Yeah, just take it down to something very, very simple. Tell a good story. You're not going to please everybody 100%. It ain't going to happen. So as long as you go in there with that mindset to start off with, you'll have something genuine. It's your story from your point of view. You don't have 10, 12 chefs in the kitchen all trying to cook the same dish. You know, you have to stick to that originality. That is what people want. They're tired of the same John Wayne themed movies. They're tired of that. You
hmm
know,
Or the tired Star Wars, or the tired what's that other, like, like the Marvels, Captain America, Guardians of the Galaxy, DC Comics, like or it's just like, what are some of the other franchise that just been literally just beat to the ground?
and it's not even as bad as being beat to the ground. What I've been seeing is the swapping. From gender role swapping. What's wrong with having Silver Surfer be a man? That's the version that everybody knows and loves. You know, um, why do you have to have a female version of a male character? Just create a new female character that's just as badass, different, unique in her own way, and there's no problem.
Mm.
Like, who does not like Ripley? Everybody loves Ripley from Aliens. Everybody. It's badass woman, did her thing, got in, got out. Perfect. Perfect. We kind of lost sight of that. At least some parts of Hollywood lost sight of that. They need to just go back to, like I said, telling a good story. That is so important.
hmm And it does too. And of course, speaking of good stories, we're here with Vinci Young of Dragonesque Studios and B.E.A.R.S The Awakening. And what is the real story behind B.E.A.R.S? We'll find out just one minute with the amazing Vinci Young. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by SoundCloud Studios. Visit online at SoundCloudStudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. SoundCloud Studios is the answer. SoundCloud Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, time to give an official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews. An evil of an enjoys by Howard celebrities including Dwayne Cassie, Forge Riley, and Minnows. So grab your copy today for Girls Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com or 40 podcast platforms. Heard in over 100 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, also Odyssey, Apple Music, and also on Pandora. Tune in and also follow on BitChute, LinkedIn, Rumble. Make sure you subscribe and follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. Make sure you take us with you on any mobile device. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies. Makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/me and Melson for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Amazon.com/me and Melson. Check it out today and support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. We're here with the amazing Portland, Oregon-based retired U.S. Air Force veteran and the CEO of Dragonesque Studios Davence Young here on the Mike Wagner Show. And before we talk about your latest release, B.E.A.R.S The Awakening, or on the works of it, and you being a U.S. Air Force veteran, and how did you first get involved with the military?
Getting out the hood.
Well, that's the best answer out there. I gotta say that.
I wanted to see a little bit of the world before college.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, 12 years of school, I wanted to get out, get a little wild, have a little fun, do something that I haven't done yet, and that was for me going into the military. I'm from a military family. All my uncles, Navy, Army, Marines, when I told
Wow.
them nothing what I was doing, they're like, okay, nephew, you are too smart. You have to go into the Air Force. That's where you have to go. You're smart.
You mean they decided for you? You can't try it out yourself? Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, you couldn't try it out yourself?
They were really convincing, really convincing. So that because when you come out, your availability for jobs is huge.
Oh, wow.
When you come out the Marine, what you gonna say? I'm a hired killer.
Or you could say a hired gun or a frontline worker. You could say that.
Yeah, true that, true that. But if you come out of the Air Force, there are so many different job classifications you can fall into. And it just so happens I went in there and I became an aircraft mechanic. I worked on C-130s.
Nice.
So I learned a lot. I got a chance to see a whole bunch of Europe. My first base was in England. So I was the first one in my family to actually go across the pond.
Nice.
And I got to see so many different cultures and peoples and walk of lives. The foods were just fantastic.
I see Italy's your favorite. Of course, you got to speak with the hands if you love Italian food. You know, they
Oh
go
my
for.
God. Oh my God. Yes, yes, yes. It was just an amazing experience. And to have that being young, by the time I was 19 years old, I was doing more than most men did twice my age.
Wow.
So it's a lot to take in. I mean, and you're working on planes that are worth, $20 million. You got people's lives in your hands. So you got to make sure everything is done properly.
Mhm.
You have the critical mind going at all times. And then being able, like I said, just see a different world. It showed me how small my block was.
Wow.
So when I came back, had my head on straight, says, okay, now I'm ready for college. I got my focus. Let's go ahead and do it.
And certainly did as well too. And of course, going from the Air Force over to filmmaking. So you got a heck of a journey on that.
Yeah, yeah. And the funny thing was, I went from the Air Force to going back into art. I've always loved art. I've drawn all my life.
Nice.
So I wanted to get, heavy into the art field, graphic art and design, work for a studio somewhere, make my name that way.
Okay.
So I learned all the various aspects of art, and then from there, being in that culture, I got into cosplay. And back in those days, it was before it was called cosplay. It was just costuming.
Right.
So
Yeah. I remember that. And they're taking it to a whole new level with cosplay.
oh my God, it's now literally an art form by itself. They're able to combine so many different disciplines: sewing, prop making, fabrication, painting, all in these designs, and I loved it because it was free. It gave you so much freedom to just create,
Hmm.
and then you had your favorite comic book characters or sci-fi characters, and you wanted to make those armors or make those weapons. So you started getting into that, and I kind of veered for a minute into that field, you know.
Really? That's
And,
interesting. And of course, you mentioned about comic book characters, cartoons, and all that. Who are some of your favorite characters growing up? It can be comics, it can be cartoons, it can be anything.
oh man, Spawn, one of my favorites, a black anti-hero.
Hmm.
Of course, Black Panther, um,
My favorites.
oh, Green Lantern. They really are so many of them. Cartoons, Gargoyles,
Hmm.
loved it, hands down. Um, Lion King, love that. Uh, it really is a whole lot. Um, I just love the creativity and once again the great stories and character development.
Hmm.
It all boils down to that again. No matter how the character may look, how are they written?
Hmm. And of course, with artwork and everything else, for those when you're watching the Mike Wagner show, I got the Bears Awakening. Now, did you do that bear yourself, or who did that one? That looks really amazing.
The actual bear logo itself was done by an artist named Steven, African dude, really solid brother. We went through about 10 different variations together to get to that. And then I took that and I made the planet background in the back and did the logo myself for it.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
and it's kind of a little foreshadowing because it's not just about Earth, it goes into space.
Looks like the next Chicago Bears logo. I look at it. So,
Could be, could be.
well, you never know. I mean, see it first on the Mike Whiting show at Bears Awakening. And of course, it's spelled out B.E.A.R.S with the periods. And what does that stand for?
Ah, biological, oh, my bad, biomechanical, exfiltration, attack and response show soldiers. Yeah,
Did
it's an
everybody catch that?
acronym. Yeah, yeah. I'll say it again: biomechanical, exfiltration, attack and response soldiers. It's an acronym for the Special Forces team, known as the Bears.
Hmm. And of course, according to that as well, too, they go 120 years into cyberpunk future in elite special forces and basically just next level everything, nanotechnology, awakening, something bigger than we know and knew nothing about. So that's pretty much the whole bottom line to it. And maybe elaborate more on that.
Yeah, the government, like all governments are, trying to find the next big super soldier.
Hmm.
So all different continents on the planet are trying to get this race and win the race, so to speak, for it. A certain doctor finds this unusual crystal,
Hmm.
and he takes this crystal and pairs it with some nanotechnology and formulates a chip and plants the chip into the brains of certain individuals on the special forces team.
Mm.
And it does give them new powers, awakenings, so to speak. But it kicks off something that even they didn't know it would kick off. And these team members that have been chosen for this chip, they find out there's even more to them than meets the eye.
Mm. How so in ways? Like with the change and everything like that with the chip.
Um, Power wise, they're definitely stronger, they're faster. There are certain things that they can do. Like one person can tap into electronic systems
Oh,
remotely,
wow.
and jam stuff and scramble stuff like that. So, another person is sort of like a shield. She can manipulate gravity.
Oh my
And
goodness. I've never heard of that. Manipulating gravity. Oh my
yes,
goodness. I hope the Russians aren't listening right now. I'm kidding.
but they all do very, very unique things. It's a six-member team. So each one has a key role so they can work together and be able to get through their missions. That's one of the biggest things about this. It's all about that unity, the team unity. There is not one person that is like the ultimate person of the whole team. They all literally need each other to achieve their goal. And
Hmm.
that's one of the biggest things about the military.
Hmm. And how does this series differ from all the other series that have a similar plot, going to the future and everything like that? And, what are some of the things that stand out and just make it different from the rest?
One of the things that I do is play around with lineage,
Hmm.
actual facts and places and things that have happened in our own history as human beings. You're going to see taken to a new level in this series. They're actually going to visit certain places across the world, and be able to go through certain things that's going to make your eyes pop out your forehead. Um, there are aliens involved, obviously, and you're going to see some interesting things with the aliens.
Oh my gosh,
um,
I'm certainly looking forward to it. And of course, more about the Bears the Awakening with Davence Young. And what else is coming up with Davence Young from Dragonesque Studios besides Bears the Awakening? We'll find out just 1 minute. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Studios, and brought to you by our official sponsor, the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's They're Missing. We'll be back with the CEO of Dragonesque Studios, Davence Young, and Bears the Awakening after this time. We're back with the multi-talented Davence Young of Dragonesque Studios and B.E.A.R.S The Awakening here on the Mike Wagner Show. And you being a CEO of Dragonesque Studios, and basically, what else do you guys have, and what can we expect from you in 2024 and beyond, basically?
well, basically, I created the studio to be able to push forth, the Bears.
Uh-huh.
Once again, going back to what I was told, you got to do it yourself. And that means spending time to learn about the business side of this industry. I took about 4 years of
Wow,
learning
okay.
from people like Shonda Rhimes, Bob Iger, Neil Gaiman, people that are creative minds that have been around other great creative minds, but also were very practical about everything.
Hmm.
So I have to make sure I have got my foot into that pot. It's all day. But yeah, I had to learn a lot about contracts. You
Mm.
know, create. In my opinion, there should be a class in every single creative school in the world. Contracts. You need to be able to read a contract because
Or
if
write
not,
up a contract.
that too. Because if not, you'll get taken every single time. So after learning all about that, I had to learn how to write a pitch deck,
Hmm.
how to do a log line, how to do a lookbook. So learn all about the other business side of things so that when I pitch it to a investor, I'm not looking like an idiot.
Right, exactly, exactly. Yes. Hmm.
Because they work hard for their money. They're not just going to hand you their money. They want to see a good reason to hand you their money. So I had to learn all of that.
Hmm.
And it's kind of funny just knowing what George Lucas said once again about businessmen and directors, who were shooting the films. And it's funny when you look at some of the greatest films that were done, Lord of the Rings, they gave the director full reign on that story. And they said it couldn't be done. Now,
Hmm.
if that was a project where you have studio heads deciding everything, I doubt very much that film would have been as great as it is now.
I think you'd be a mess too. It's like you worry about this, you worry about that, political correctness and everything else, and you're trying to get the right person to fit their needs and everything like that. So I could see why it would bomb like that. And Peter Jackson, I gotta say, he's like the modern day George Lucas, but a little nicer though. So
Yes, yes. You look at Logan, you know, Hugh Jackman was not going to come back to film that film unless they agreed to make it R-rated. You know, and when they went ahead and they finally acquiesced and let him do it, I was in the theater when this happened. The very first time you saw those claws go to somebody's heads, crowd lost their minds.
Oh
They
my gosh.
cheered, they screamed, because that's what people been looking for. You know, it was true to the
And,
character.
and I think that's something missing these days. It's like Robert De Niro was true to the character. They'd say, you don't play the part, you marinate the part. And I'm trying to some of the others, like Al Pacino. And I think there was also Dustin Hoffman. And I think there was another one that was in The Irishman. I'm trying to remember who that
Mm,
is.
mm,
So yeah, it's like, oh, it was De Niro. You're right. And all the method actors, true to form, Jack Nicholson was another. And it's like, they knew how to bring him in, they knew what to do. And of course, I gotta say, Jim Carrey is probably like the almost the last of it. It's like, he goes crazy and the audience loves it. And if it's a good film, bad film, he goes crazy. It's like they pay money to see Jim Carrey. They could care about how bad or good the movie is. Like they pay money to see Jim Carrey and get their money's worth.
yeah, look at Daniel Day-Lewis. Whatever role he was in, you saw the character. You never saw Daniel Day-Lewis. You know, I'm just he just fell into the role, and you was totally convincing.
Hmm.
Totally, you know. There's
Right.
some Benedict Cumberbatch. A lot of people don't know he was Smog in Lord of the Rings.
Really.
If they've ever watched any of the behind the scenes stuff, you see him in a mocap suit on the ground, moving just like Smog was, saying his lines.
And I think another person comes to mind is John Rhys Davies. Like you don't even know the person itself. It's like he immerses in the character and he's just so perfect. And there are times like that was really him. So, here's another guy that gets into the character of John Rhys Davies.
Yes, yes. And those are the great actors.
Mm-hmm. And
When you forget who they are.
right, exactly. Yeah. And of course, in the meantime, where can we find Bears the Awakening and other future works at?
Oh, right now it is still in pre-production, nearing that production level. Um, we've got a whole lot going on with it. It's going to be filmed overseas, the entire thing.
Nice. Okay.
It's going to be filmed in Turkey in conjunction with B.E.A.R.S Studios and Bao what was it? WOM. Yeah, World of Movies. Two productions as well. It's three of us coming together to make it. The studio is fantastic. It is huge. They even have the stagecraft set from LucasArts built there.
Nice.
So it's a state of the art studio. I'm looking forward to being on there with everybody, knocking it out the park. And after the first film is done, there will be a series, a 12 episode series. I already have fully written.
All right, that sounds great. Once that gets out, you're welcome to come back and show and talk more about it along with their other projects. We're here at CEO of Dragonesque Studios, Davence Young of B.E.A.R.S The Awakening, here on the Mike Wagner Show. Just a few more things, Davence. What else can we expect in 2024 and beyond? And if you don't go into 2025, that's fine by me.
Well, definitely, you'll be seeing more updates about Bears The Awakening for sure. There are a couple of surprises towards the end of the year that I'm going to reveal that hopefully people who are in the geek sphere
Hmm.
will, when it comes in, something just for them. Um, but definitely 2025 and beyond, oh man, we're gonna blow the world up in a good way.
That's right. And the Awakenings are involved, and those bears are on the loose, I got to say. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Mm, every single indie developer that came from nothing and made something. Because these are cats that actually love the craft.
Hmm.
They love being able to tell a story. They love being creative. They love pulling and tugging on people's emotions and their heartstrings when they're in the theater. Whether it's a fright, whether it's a tearjerker moment, whether it's a tension filled moment, these are the cats that really make movies movies. Those are my most, I would say, people that I hold close to my heart.
And certainly indeed as well, too. And George Lucas part of it. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Don't stop, keep going. If it's a goal that you have, research it well. Don't just half-ass it.
Right.
Research it, and push for
Mm-hmm. And that is a very good advice as well. Once again, CEO Dragonesque Studios and the part of the movie B.E.A.R.S The Awakening, Davence Young here on the Mike Wagner Show. Davence, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Learned a lot from you. Looking forward to having you again soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. We'd love to have you back. Once again, what's your website? How do people contact you? And where can people purchase future works or simply check you out?
it. BeAwakening.com. It's a Wix website. You can go right there. Also, if you go to my Instagram page, Dragonesque Studios, at Instagram.com, you can look up there. I have a link tree that has every single website listed for bears.
Okay, we'll certainly check that out. Once again, Davence, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. We'd love to have you back. Wish all best. And Davence, you definitely have a great future ahead of you.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure being here.